Yeah. Well, Yami, what about that? I mean, do we just imagine it's worse now than it's ever been? Or if you look at our history, hasn't it always been? We've always had vigorous political war.
We have, and I mean, I just think it's a pendulum. It goes one way, it goes the other, you know. We're at a time right now that we're trying to figure things out, what's going on in the country. We have disagreements over what's going on in the country. But there's something here that I want to bring up to you that nobody has looked at. And I heard somebody at the courthouse, and I kind of jumped into the conversation, and they said, you know what? This is a guy that was at a state run college
Mm-hmm.
and they threw him out
Mm-hmm.
because he was acting crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to get into the military,
Mm-hmm.
and what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy. So these are all funded by public money.
Mm-hmm.
How did we not keep track of
Mm-hmm.
this guy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We just let him back out. See you
Mm-hmm.
later. Let somebody else deal with you.
But that is really the big question, and it's not as sexy as blaming it on the Tea Party. But what we do with people that give off all of these warning signs, and we talked about it the other day, where 30, 40 years ago, you could commit people to mental health care. We've taken away a lot of that. We've made it almost impossible to do involuntary commitment. Even family members almost cannot force a person to take medication or get treatment or go to an appointment. And maybe it was wrong the other way too, because people were being warehoused in these institutions. There was a lot of abuse, these asylums and these state schools and so forth. But we've kind of overcorrected. Now we have a situation where, as you're describing, Yami, you can literally, everybody that sees you can see that there's something wrong, but no one can actually do anything about it.
Exactly. So go tell the parents of that 9-year-old girl, well, we should have done
No.
something, but, we couldn't really get involved.
Well, and the college was afraid of a shooting at the college. So, they were so specifically concerned about that threat and making sure that didn't happen that nobody thought, well, okay, when we throw him out of the school, he's still going to be disturbed. Where is that going to go? Where is he going to take that, right?
Not their problem, and they won't get sued
What do we
because
do,
they got him
Nico?
out.
I mean, how do we get a happy medium between the days when people were warehoused and not given any treatment, which that certainly wasn't good, and this other extreme today? What's the happy
I think
medium?
you're talking about the same thing I brought up earlier, is a balance somewhere in the middle. I mean, both extremes are bad. I think you have to have a process where someone can try to involuntarily commit somebody, but then make sure that there's a procedure set up, and we're talking about due process arguments, where someone can have a fair shake to prove or to establish that they don't need that type of treatment, to make sure they don't get lost in the system. Because you have double arguments. People get lost in a system, and then also you have no treatment at all, to where something like this could result. And there's a lot of people that have conditions out there that don't end with this type of
Exactly.
tragedy, and I see them all the time in the justice system, and
Right.
it's wasting our tax dollars, and it's just a never-ending cycle.
All right, we're back with Gang of Four. It's 10:43 on KTSA.
Upper Hills B2 units is shooting. So shooting at the Safeway. I'm in Oracle, and I'm a man with a semi-automatic weapon. Just responding advice. A caller is reporting a shooting a man with a semi-automatic weapon. He shot at people, and he was last seen headed towards the Walgreens. He ran northbound out of the store wearing a black hoodie and blue jeans. And we have a caller who believes that Gabrielle Giffords was shot. It's multiple victims. Sounds like many people are shot.
103, have the farthest unit, probably the one in Catalina. That would be 493. Start calling out small unit tactics, and let's send 2 or 3 primaries to the location.
Suspects, let me rephrase. Customers have tackled the suspect. They are holding him down at the Safeway.
10:49 on News Talk 550 KTSA. We got a lot more Gang of Four coming up, including some of the other things that made news this week. But before we leave the Tucson story, a couple of proposals came out in Congress this week. Interestingly enough, both conservative Republicans. Peter King, Congressman Peter King of New York, wants to establish a 1,000-foot gun-free zone around every federal official. It would be against the law, even if you're a legally permitted gun owner, to be within 1,000 feet of a federal employee, including members of Congress, judges. And then we had Congressman Dan Burton of Indiana, who wants to put some sort of bulletproof glass, plexiglass bubble around the visitors gallery at the House of Representatives so that they can't throw things or attack or what. I mean, this is what we're talking about. The American people seem very balanced about this whole thing. They rejected it was the rhetoric thing right off the bat. Our members of Congress have become unhinged over this. It's not encouraging. And as a conservative, these are two people that are supposed to be pro-Second Amendment, innocent until proven guilty. We're the people's servants. A bubble? 1,000 feet? Why don't they just make Washington a city that no one can visit except government officials? How about that?
That 1,000 feet is not practical at all. When does that apply? Does that apply in a restaurant? Does that apply just at an official event? And think about it. A legally licensed, I'm a big gun advocate, by the way, but a legally licensed gun holder might save a public official's life in a situation like that.
Oh, no, Nico. No, you can't trust people with guns.
No.
They're crazy.
No.
It'll be the Wild West, Nico.
No.
The only gun in that crowd needs to be the crazy person. We don't
exactly.
We don't want a crossfire.
The bad people have guns anyway, so...
So would assassins stay outside the 1,000-foot range? I mean,
they go to rifles.
Yeah.
To deer rifle, stuff like that. And that way, I'd like 1,000-foot range for former girlfriends to stay away.
Could we all have
nice.
1,000 feet? I'd like. We should all get it.
I
Why
think so.
only them?
Why only them?
We all want that.
Exactly.
Because we all know those drug-free zones around schools. Those have worked really well. That's the drug-free schools. That's been a smash hit. But seriously, a glass like a sneeze shield around the House gallery. What are they thinking?
Yeah, that's a knee-jerk reaction based off emotion.
There's another whack job there. That's a wacky idea.
If they want to get you, they're going to get you. I mean, they'll find a way to get you. What's that glass going to do?
Yeah.
Then fear wins.
Yeah.
We're not about fear. We've never been.
Well,
I don't know.
This is one guy. This is one guy and 300 million people. It's not the rest of us aren't there running around with pistols and stuff looking for our representative to shoot.
Well, and we look back. It's been 30 years since a member of Congress was shot and killed. 30 years.
And
I mean, not that it should ever happen, but it doesn't appear to be an epidemic.
Yeah, exactly.
And then think about in those 30 years, how many public appearances have members of Congress been at? Then that's the real number, not just the years, but how many incidents or events or appearances then
I can see putting, now in hindsight, it may have been a good idea to have a police detail at her event.
Security.
Right.
And if members of Congress wanted to have, a security person travel with them or something, I mean, they probably shouldn't be alone.
Don't have any problem with that.
But I mean, beyond that, I don't think we need to put some sort of Secret Service level of protection or...
On the TV the other day, I saw them going through the state capitol and they have the metal detectors now. And I thought, as a kid, how many times I went through those doors on school things, and now you've got to pull everything out of your pocket. I went because some guy whack job went there with a gun, and I thought that's sad. I mean, that's sad commentary. I hate to see those things.
Didn't they say this morning that Dewhurst has now security because of threats that he received? I think it was back in December.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I mean, they're out there. They're putting themselves out on the line. Some people will get mad at them, but they are one of us also.
They have to.
Who's protecting us?
Yeah. Yeah. Very well said. All right, we're back with Gang of Four after the news. 10:53 on News Talk 550 KTSA. All right, we're coming up to the news at 11 from ABC in our KTSA 24-hour newsroom. We'll be back with more Gang of Four. I was just telling the gang, Tom Brokaw has said that he would now be afraid to go into a bar in Arizona.
Wow.
So, boy, poor Arizona. They've taken so many hits this week, and now they're not going to get Tom Brokaw's liquor business. It's just, the suffering never end for that state.
Hey, that would have been a big bar
That could be a big bar. Not that we're implying anything. All right, we're back after the news on KTSA.
Overcast this afternoon, chilly temperatures and a bit of rain, high 48, off and on rain and drizzle tonight and tomorrow, 45 tonight, 54 the high tomorrow. It'll be milder on Sunday, but a rainy day, maybe a thunderstorm, high 64. Recapping for this afternoon, chilly, a bit of rain, high 48. I'm Eric Wilhelm with your Dutch Boy Cleaners, KTSA AccuWeather forecast.
Foggy and 39 in San Antonio. News headlines coming up at 11:20 on 550 KTSA.
Karen Klaus, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jack.
Look at this handsome gang of four we have
I know.
here
I've
today.
been looking at him. I just can't believe it.
Who knew?
Usually I don't take my reading glasses off because I don't want to look over there.
It would be wasted on radio, but fortunately we're shooting the video that we'll post next week. All right, it's never a good idea to use a company vehicle for a personal errand.
That's
I'm not
so
saying
true.
you did that.
No, I didn't. But you can get in trouble even if you just want to go get a soda or something.
Yeah, I mean, you don't,
anything can happen.
Don't jump in the station van and run down the street or whatever. If you're a police officer, don't take a police department vehicle to run a personal errand. Dave Dennison has done this in Tampa. He's a veteran police officer and been with the department since 2000. An investigation this week in Tampa found that Officer Dennison misused public property, city property, by taking the one of the station vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was actually the helicopter.
Oh no! Oh no!
He grabbed the copter to drop off a fishing net to a friend who had gone on a vacation and I guess forgot his
what a great friend.
his fishing net. His supervisor says these helicopters are costly. Sounds like my dad.
Yeah, really?
Helicopters do not grow on trees,
Jack Riccardi, 10 to 1, 550 KTSA.
Who takes the helicopter and thinks they won't notice?
Brazen.
I'm telling you what. 11:09 on News Talk 550 KTSA. It's Gang of Four for a Friday morning. On the gang today, Yami Virgen from Fox San Antonio. Yay, got it right.
Yay, good job.
I've gone quite a while without saying it. You notice that?
Yes.
All right. She's the investigative reporter for Fox. We were talking about the Machete trial.
Machete.
That is something else.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
What's going on right now? You're keeping tabs with it on your phone.
Yes, I am. My photographer, Brian Sanchez, just texted that the Star Witness is up right now.
Oh, is it killing you that you're not there?
It's killing me.
Thank you for making time for us. Thank you for choosing us over the Machete.
You're
even
important.
If just briefly.
Your viewers, your listeners are important.
We're going to send you right back to that as quickly as we can. Also with us today, Nico LaHood, ran for DA last year, now back in private law practice, and we're talking about all the big stories today. It's good to have a lawyer with us. Always helpful to have a lawyer. We never know when we're going to need one.
Thank you.
Either to
in your personal life or your show, right?
I was going to say either to talk about the news or to get me out of trouble for what I say. And Stephen Stoli is with us, former owner of the Stephen Stoli Playhouse. Well, we got the official word yesterday about something that's not exactly been a big secret. Kay Bailey Hutchison is all done with the Senate after 2012. Not going to run for another term. I think we've almost known this since she began this term. No sooner did she win re-election in 06 than she started talking about running for governor, and then she did, and that was a disaster. So Kay Bailey Hutchison is pretty much calling it quits. They say there could be as many as 24 Republicans alone running for this thing. Nico, I mean, how do you stand out in a field of 25 candidates?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, they need to get together and pick maybe a handful of them, maybe the top 5 or something, because that's just really spreading out their resources or something. Yeah, it's going to be pretty insane.
The consensus seems to be, though, that this is a Republican seat. Do you agree with that? That there's almost no way the Democrats can pick this up?
I never say anything is impossible, but it's a strong indication that it's a Republican seat.
Yeah. Are you tempted to run?
No, not at all. Not for that seat, no.
Just see the look at his face when I said
no.
that. It's like I asked him to saw his arm off, you know. No. But I mean, it must be very. I guess when somebody's in for a long time, there's all these people sort of backed up in the pipeline, feeling like, hey, when is this person? And so they're all like, all of a sudden, this is it, right?
Right. It's a timing thing, I think, in life, business, and in politics and opportunity. And so I think she's. Someone called her. I think I read in the paper. She's like, she could be the Brett Favre of politics. I mean, keep coming back, keep coming back, and so all these people feeling it's their time as time was going on. Now you have 25 people potentially in the field, so that's going to be kind of crazy. I think it's too much.
Stephen Stoli's phone is ringing. He's getting an offer.
Right, he's gonna run right now.
No.
Are you?
I'm running away.
You're running away? No. Anybody have a favorite? Anybody know who it's going to be?
I was just surprised. I didn't know. I mean, I know she had kids they adopted, but she's going to be 70 this year or next year, and she's got school-age kids going on. So I think that's amazing. I mean, so if she's leading
amazing
Washington
in a good way, or
I don't know. I'm sure she's. I mean, it's like having your grandmother and mother at the same time. That's.
I think it's amazing in a good way. I mean, for her to want to take on that responsibility at that stage in her life, I think it's incredible. She's blessing some children.
Get her out. She wanted to get out of Washington.
I don't think she's getting out of Washington.